Hello, welcome to episode 42 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, 1945's Detour, directed by Edgar G. Ulmer. And this is a film noir, I believe the first film noir that I'm reviewing for this series. And it's a pretty straightforward one, pretty simple setup. A guy walks into a bar, he's very annoyed or agitated about something, he's in a foul mood, and we hear him narrate the story of how he got to that bar in such a state. And basically his girlfriend lives across the whole other side of the United States. They're from New York. She goes to LA, so he goes to follow her. He has no money or little money, so he starts hitchhiking across the entire of the United States. And along the way, just before he gets to Los Angeles, he gets picked up by a certain guy who kind of changes everything. And that's kind of the film, really. The simple setup is that something goes wrong along the way and he has to make a detour. It's a very short film, about an hour long, maybe just over an hour, something like that. The main actor is Neal, and the lead actress is Anne Savage, who gives a savage performance in the film, pun heavily intended. He comes across a woman on the road as well, and that's kind of the main relationship of the film. I don't want to spoil anything, but the chemistry between Neal and Savage was very palpable on screen. She's a very feisty character in the film, and one gets the feeling that the actress is probably very feisty as well, because sometimes you can't just, you know, be a great actress. It felt so genuine. Maybe she was the sweetheart, but I mean, she really felt believable as this this real feisty woman who very much wanted what she wanted and was going to get it no matter what. And she kind of takes over the whole film in a way. But it's a very simple story. It almost felt like, because it's only just over an hour long, it felt a bit like a Twilight Zone episode or something, but without the Twilight Zone element. Just one of those kind of, and here's a story. You know, like an anthology show or something like that, I guess, is probably a better way to put it. It felt like an episode of an anthology show, you know, just a bell-to-bell story, you know, nothing continuous, but, you know, it starts with the guy in the bar, and we hear the kind of very film noir kind of voiceover. I did feel like Neal, the main actor in the film, was a little bit unconvincing at times, I have to say, but it kind of fit the kind of B-movie feel of the film in a way. I mean, a lot of, you know, just driving in a car with the screen projection, things like that. It felt cheap, but there was an allure to it at the same time, and I mean, it didn't look terrible. I mean, there was things about it that did look good, and there's some stuff that was shot on location, but you know, you can tell that it didn't have all the money in the world behind it, but to me it kind of added to it. And I have to say, overall, I really, really loved it. I just enjoyed it from the film noir aspect, and, you know, just the moody voiceover, you know, telling the story, and also the fact that this could be what people consider to be an unreliable narrator story, where you're seeing the story through the guy who, you know, who lived it, and he's telling the audience this, or whoever in his head, whatever, however you want to frame it, you know, as far as who he's telling the story to, because really you're just seeing him sat at the bar, and you almost hear it as if the voice is in his head. And it makes you wonder, is he an unreliable narrator? Is he embellishing things? Are we seeing his version of the story that he's trying to make up in his head before he maybe gets, you know, into further trouble and has to explain himself? Or or do you take it all for read just because he's telling you this? And that makes the film a lot more interesting to me, because there are two moments in the film that are not hard to believe. They're definitely within the realms of possibility, but they're, you know, it's a stretch. It's a real stretch, and it makes you wonder. Now, either it was just, you know, lazy writing, or it was a clever kind of little, you know, part of the film where he's basically, you know, making excuses for himself. And I thought that was quite interesting. So you can take it either way. I think it can be read into the way that it's, you know, that it's presented. Is it a film you must see before you die? I would say no. It doesn't really scream a film that you must see to me, but I really enjoyed it because I love film noir. I love that aesthetic, and it had quite a bit of that. You know, it wasn't like a true great film noir by any stretch. I just really enjoyed it for what it was, but it wasn't a great film. So yeah, I mean, if you can find it, it's only an hour long, and you love film noir, then definitely give it a look. But otherwise, it's not an essential watch. And that's pretty much all I got to say, so thanks for watching.